I don't know who you are. I don't know how you feel. I just know times can be hard and challenging some days. You might look for a way to find strength to carry on. You might look for a place where you feel home. You might look for a way to find strength to carry on. You might look for a place where you feel home. Deep inside yourself, you will find your way. Like a crystal clear, your spirit shines by night and day. Deep inside yourself, you will find your way. Like a crystal clear, your spirit shines by night and day.
Hello and welcome back to our Day 2 UNESCO Youth World Peace Day and Life Improvement to Self-Awareness made especially for teens and young adults. And just to be aware, this program is being recorded. My name is Stephen Marcatelli, the Secretary of UNESCO Body and Mind Wellness Club, referred to as UNESCO BMW Club. As mentioned yesterday, I work as a physical therapist offering rehabilitation to those with various physical injuries and or diseases. However, my true love and avocation is to offer this platform for inner peace, outer peace, and balance, the vehicle of UNESCO BMW and Sahaja Yoga meditation. As a secretary, I would like to mention that UNESCO Body and Mind Wellness Club has three main goals: promoting global peace practices, protecting the ecosystem, and encouraging arts and craft and culture. In UNESCO, we bring forth these goals through collaboration with organizations such as Sahaja Yoga Meditation and Hood College. Today's program will help our attendees develop stronger soft skills such as improved self-esteem, balanced mental and emotional outlook, and teamwork dynamism, so as to be successful in scholastic studies and to be effective players in future career settings. Today's program will begin with a talk from Reverend O'Malley of Hood College. This will be followed up with inner self-development skills through the vehicle of Sahaja Yoga Meditation. And afterwards, we will have live music offered by Kiureli Sammallahti for our meditation time. We will close with concluding remarks about today's program and allow for a Q&A time. And we will monitor the chat box in Zoom and the comment sections in YouTube and answer questions. And also we can encourage and like to encourage everyone to open up their mics and have a more dynamic interchange. Before we dive deeper into our program, I would like to put forth an audience poll. We'll have that slide coming up. Please take your time answering these questions. Allow for a minute or two. As you can see, we have various questions here. One is, what are your expectations for today's program? Your age, which country you're living in, how did you hear about us? And we would love to have your email so we can keep in touch. I am now honored to introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Beth O'Malley of Hood College. She has served since 2008 as McHenry Dean of the Chapel of Hood College. She received her BA in Religion and English from Hiram College and her Master of Divinity from Yale University. One of her great loves is promoting health and wellness and helping to create healing opportunities for people of different backgrounds. Be surprised by what we hold in common. Welcome, Reverend O'Malley. We are looking forward to know more about your expertise in the arena of health and wellness, and please share your presentation.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everybody. I'm really honored to be with you today. I serve as the chaplain at Hood College in Frederick, Maryland, where I am in the community with UNESCO. And instead of being an expert today, I would like to offer myself as a co-journeyer on this path toward health and wellness, body, mind, and spirit. And so I'm so grateful for the invitation to be with you today. And so I'm going to ask if we could go ahead and start sharing the screen and my presentation. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do at Hood. And so I am spiritual support for our students as well as faculty and staff. And our students range in age anywhere from about 17, typically for undergraduate students, until about 23 or 24. But we also have master's students and doctoral students. And throughout life, one of the things that I have recognized is that we are a whole person, not just intellect, not just body, not just spirit, but all three of those. And so my presentation today is to help us reconnect all three of those, body, mind, and spirit, for whole person health. Let's go on to the next slide. So if you would give me the next slide, that would be great. Thank you. So our students often will tell me that in the United States and in the culture that most of us are living in, particularly those of us who are in the Washington, D.C. area, we often feel like we are on a racetrack, going round and around in circles at fast speeds, unable to get off. Maybe you felt like that in your life, like you have been stuck in a little car going faster and faster with people in front of you and people behind you, all pushing you to go at the fastest possible clip that you could ever have, but without your ability to slow down and put the pedal down, put the brake on. May I have the next slide? So maybe you felt conversely like you're sleepwalking through life, not just racing, but sometimes just unable to focus, not really aware of what's going on. Many of us have certainly felt like that during COVID. Things have moved at such a quick pace and in such a strange way over the last 3 years that we feel as though we are in a dream or maybe a nightmare. So you can think about where you fall on that spectrum. Are you racing? Are you sleepwalking? Are you somewhere in between? Or maybe both? Next slide, please. So when we are thinking about holistic health, we can think about it as waking up to ourselves. So those of you who might drive, or those of you who walk, maybe you can remember a time in your life when you have arrived at your destination, but you have no memory of getting there. We are on automatic pilot, just going through the motions, but not fully aware of where we are. Holistic health or real health is waking up to ourselves, being fully present in the moment and honoring body and mind and spirit. Next slide, please. And I think one of the ways that we do that, wake up to ourselves, is to have self-awareness. Now, you might think to yourself, I'm aware of what I'm doing. If I'm eating, or I'm walking, or I'm in class, or I'm working. But real self-awareness, as this little definition in front of you says, it's a conscious knowledge of one's own character and feelings and motives and desires. It's a full look in the mirror of who we are. And I would say, as this little image projects, it's not just who we are now, but who we want to become, particularly building on our sense of strength. The world, and particularly those of us who are involved in education, can sometimes be so aware of what our deficits are, what we have still to learn, how much we want to grow stronger. I think self-awareness at its best shows us how strong we are and what we can become. Next slide, please. I like to tell students that self-awareness is one of the most important tools that you can have in your toolkit. So when students come to Hood College, they know that they're going to learn about whatever discipline they want to study. They may be studying biology or chemistry. They may be studying a language, French, Spanish, Arabic, German. They may be studying education or history or music or computer science. But what they're really going to be studying and learning about in their time here with us is themselves. And they're often surprised at the fact that they get to learn about what they don't understand about themselves, where they still need to grow, how much they need to learn about dealing with other people, about understanding what it is that sets them off in a bad way or in a good way, what confuses them, frustrates them, what gives them a sense of anxiety or worry. I hope that self-awareness is a tool that today and yesterday, throughout this UNESCO program, you will begin to understand how important self-awareness is and use that tool on a regular basis, no matter what you're involved in, your study, your play, your work. Next slide, please. So I'd like you to look at this wellness wheel. Maybe you've seen this before. This is something that I give to all of our students, and it came from our wellness director. When you think about wellness, I'd like you to just for a moment imagine what comes to your mind without looking at this wheel. If I were to ask you, what does it mean to be fully well? What does that mean for you? Maybe you think immediately of physical health, how your body is working. But real holistic wellness takes in many, many different elements of our existence. So you see at the top right, it's physical. How is your body working? What's going on? But it also includes intellectual wellness, what you're learning, schoolwork, your goals, all of those kinds of things. We also might think of that as mental health as well, but it's also stimulation. What opportunities do you have for learning, for being creative? Spiritual wellness is not just religion. It's also your sense of tradition and culture and values. What's most important to you? And how do you feed your spirit spiritually, religiously, in terms of values? Occupational wellness is another important thing. So the reality is that most of us will spend the vast majority of our waking lives working. And so what happens if we're not happy with what we're doing? What do you think that does for your overall health? If day after day, hour after hour, you're doing work you don't really enjoy, probably not the best for your health. But on the other side, if we are able to enjoy it, if we savor what we're doing, if we have a sense of bringing something important to the world, then that is going to feed us. It's going to be generative for us. How we work and the spirit we bring and what that gives to us is an important part of holistic health. Our social health, or the people that we surround ourselves with, are probably one of the most valuable but undervalued things in holistic health. So who do you spend your time with? And what's the spirit of those people? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are healthy, who bring out the best in you? Or are you surrounding yourself with people, perhaps that maybe you're more negative, people who bring you down, people who don't always create the best spirit for you? What kind of role models do you have? Social wellness is a really important part of your life. Often students will come to my office and say, often in their first year, second year, third year, and then their final year of undergraduate, Reverend Beth, I'm not sure how comfortable I am with the people I'm in that are in my friend group. And as they speak, it's clear that those have been important people, that they've been people they've enjoyed for a while, but as they mature, as they spend more time in their discipline, mostly as they get to know themselves better, they begin to understand that sometimes we can outgrow relationships. It's not a bad thing, it's part of living, but it's usually pretty awkward when we outgrow something. You don't wear the same clothes, perhaps, that you wore when you were, let's say, 10 or 11, maybe because they don't fit anymore, or you really don't like the style anymore. Doesn't mean that they weren't good clothes at that time, but they no longer work for you. They don't always bring the best to you. That can be true in terms of our relationships. And so assessing how good are the people who are surrounding me. Not just are they good for my status or how I appear in the world, but are they good for my spirit? Are they people who support and help me bring out the best in myself? And then emotional wellness. So managing your emotions, which is part of what you've been studying with meditation in the last day and today as well. Thinking about your mental health, thinking about how it is that you're appreciative of all the things in your life. So when I give this wellness wheel to our students, it usually has a series of lines on it. One line is close to the middle, and it's the first grid. It's the most basic level. Let's say it would be a grid from 1 at the middle, going out to 10 on the upper outside sides. 1 being the least amount of health or needing the most strength to be built on. 10 being the strongest, the best we can be. If you could imagine each one of those sections of that circle having that grid, I'd like you to just take a moment and maybe rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least strong, 10 being the strongest. Where are you right now at this moment of your life in physical wellness, intellectual wellness, spiritual wellness, occupational, social, and emotional wellness? Take just let's say 30 seconds or so. Pull out a piece of paper, and for each one of those, I'd like you to give yourself a number. How healthy and strong in those areas do you feel you are right now? So I'm going to invite you. I know this is very quick. You can put this aside and look at those numbers. You can also come back to this. This is a moment of self-awareness. This is a tool in your toolkit to help you do a little reality check for yourself. How healthy, how strong am I at this moment? Physically, intellectually, spiritually, occupationally, socially, and emotionally. Are there a lot of 10s in my circle? Or are there some that are a little lower? 4, 3, maybe even 2 or 1. This is not a moment for us to have to be beating ourselves up or having self-judgment. This is simply a check-in for ourselves. A tool for giving ourselves a moment of self-awareness, not racing through life, not sleepwalking through life, but fully awake in this moment and aware of how I am. Where are you on that wellness wheel? How am I really in this moment? What's strong? What do I still need to build on? I hope you'll hold on to this and use it when you need it. It's a good little anchor, especially if your body and your mind and your spirit are giving you some signals that you're not as strong as you'd like to be. Next slide, please. So many of us wait until we are ready to blow up or melt down to be aware of how we're doing. Mindfulness and that wellness wheel give us a chance to really keep ourselves in check before we end up at either extreme. Those extremes are not the healthiest point. Not to be a volcano that's blowing up, not to be lava that's giving us a meltdown, but rather an opportunity to be much calmer. Next slide, please. Self-awareness gives us a chance to push the pause button, to stop and to slow things down. Why? Because when we're racing or when we're sleepwalking through life, we don't have a chance to push the pause button to really assess, where am I? How am I feeling? How are things going for me right now? Next slide, please. The pause button gives us a chance to just stop and breathe. You've heard that in the yoga sessions, I would imagine, and also in many other things. In the United States right now, mindfulness is very popular, and it makes it sound so very easy. Just stop, just breathe. But that's much harder to do, much harder to really practice. We really have to learn how to do this, to stop and to breathe, and to manage our emotions. Next slide, please. I'd like you to just take this moment to push the pause button, just to stop and to breathe. Would you do that with me now? If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to rest them gently on something that's not going to distract you, please do that. And just take a moment and imagine you are creating a little island of calm for yourself. And you're just breathing. Taking a good full inhale and an exhale, just for this moment. There's a wonderful neuroscientist named Dr. Rick Hansen, who likes to say, building the practice of understanding that just for this moment, we are safe. Just for this moment, we can slow down and be quiet. Just for this moment, all we have to do is breathe. It gives us a chance to build our calm and to build our sense of self-awareness. Inhale, exhale. Give yourself the gift of pushing the pause button and allowing yourself to breathe. One more good inhale and exhale. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes or just come back to this moment. And look at that image. And whether you sit that way, you lie down, you're standing, whatever way it is that you have an opportunity to build your self-awareness, to push the pause button and to breathe, I invite you to think about doing that on a regular basis. Next slide, please. So when we do that, we are building a muscle. Lots of my students love to spend time at the gym because they like to have strong muscles. They like to have good, healthy bodies. But I think that building the muscle of self-understanding, self-awareness is just as important as building any other muscle in your body. Why? Because when you build the muscle of self-understanding and self-awareness, you have a chance to manage your emotion. You have a chance to stop the volcano from blowing up. You have the opportunity to stop a chaotic moment from coming because you've thought about what you'd want to say, what you'd want to do. In your best self, what would you want to bring to that moment? Not to be reactive, to have kind of a knee-jerk or a gut level response, but instead to be thoughtful, to pause and breathe and ask yourself, in my best self, what do I want my intention to be? How do I set that intention? What do I want to bring to this moment? Building the muscle of self-understanding is something you get to do for the rest of your life. It's not a one and done. Sometimes my students will say, I can't wait to be an adult and have all of this taken care of. Every wise adult in your life will tell you this is lifelong homework. We learn more about ourselves with every experience, with every relationship, with every moment that life brings us. It's a little bit like peeling an onion. We find out something new. It might make us cry, but it also can make us much stronger and much more joyful. Next slide, please. So self-awareness gives us the opportunity to be individually healthy, but also healthy in all of our relationships. So I'd like you to think about moments in your life when you felt strong and happy and capable. And I'd like you to think about how that affected your relationships. So when you felt strong and good and managing your emotions and really balanced, how do your relationships usually go? With your families, with your friends, with your teachers, with the people at work, wherever you are? Do they feel pretty strong and good, or are those relationships a little off balance? Most of the time, when we have the opportunity to be self-aware, to build that muscle of self-understanding, we feel healthy and good, and our relationships are healthy and good. Next slide, please. So this is one of my favorite quotes. It comes from Lao Tzu, who was a wonderful philosopher many, many years ago. And the connection between us as individuals and the world is very clear. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Where does it start? It starts with us. It starts with our ability to be self-aware, to take care of ourselves, to manage our emotions, creating islands of calm for us, to bring our best selves to our moments of family, of work. Next slide, please. And that radiates out just like ripples in a pond beyond ourselves to the whole world, which is really what UNESCO's commitment is. This body, mind wellness club is not just for ourselves, it's for the whole world. When we are our best selves, we bring our best selves to the world. And that spreads, that sense of peace and calm and strength, something every one of us needs. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your commitment to be here this afternoon and yesterday, because the work that you do is not just for yourself, but it's for your communities, and it really does build on the future of the world and our sense of strength and peace for everybody. Thank you, everyone, and I wish you a good, healthy, strong day. Thank you, UNESCO, for giving us this opportunity.
Ms. O'Malley, this was awesome. Very interesting session. I think Stephen's trying to come on. Here he is.
Yes, Reverend O'Malley, very insightful, very helpful messages that you've offered us this afternoon about self-awareness. Self-awareness, really has to start from within ourselves, with that depth of understanding in our heart. And we're now going to continue our journey with Sahaja Yoga meditation, which really will help us go deeper into that integration and understanding of self-awareness. So I'd love to invite Sia and Kriti Kriti, excuse me, Sia and Kriti to join us now to share that beautiful journey of continuous following through with our understanding of Sahaja Yoga meditation as we did yesterday. The floor is yours.
Well, hello. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Hi, everybody. My name is Kriti, and I'm a junior in high school, and I'm from Virginia. I have been meditating, I would say, like since I was 4. I've been meditating in Sahaja Yoga since I was 4, and I really love it, and I'm really happy to be here today.
Hi, Kriti. Hi, everybody else. Thanks so much for Stephen and the UNESCO Body, Mind and Wellness Spirit Club to have us here. And also Beth O'Malley with her presentation and about self-awareness, which we are completely going to cover in our session. And I really hope you all stay till the end because we have a fantastic live musician calling in from Finland, all the way from Finland. I have met him years ago. I saw him on the accordion and he is a master, he is a virtuoso. And in the meanwhile, he's developed himself as a folk musician slash popular musician with a cross to Bhangra music, which is the Indian style of music. So join us for that. We'll have a couple of guided meditation sessions until then, and we are going to teach you more about the technique of Sahaja Yoga, which was founded by, and let me share my screen with you as well, which was founded by Srimati Nirmala Devi. You can see in the photograph. She was introduced in yesterday's session, which, by the way, you can watch again on YouTube, and our great tech support, Mukesh, will put that into the chat. The chat is, by the way, open for co-hosts and hosts. So we'll keep an eye. If ever you need to express yourself, if you have some questions, once in a while, we're going to have a little look and get back to you. So the live sessions, the live music will come later. Yesterday's session you can watch on YouTube. And today we're going to continue telling you more about Srimati and about the subtle system. As you can see here, the subtle system, how Ms. O'Malley was referring to us needing to go deeper, getting a timeout, pressing that pause button. And in Sahaja Yoga, we do just that. Sahaja means spontaneous. It means also within. So it's something innate that you have. It's nothing outside. It's nothing alien. It's something natural you have inside. And yoga means union, means connection. So really it means a connection to yourself. And think of your entire being connected with the mind, the emotions, but it has its root in the most subtle levels, which we refer to as the energy centers or the chakras. Chakras means wheel because they turn. They turn when they're working fine, but sometimes they get rusty and they don't just work as well. And we have, thanks to the teachings of Srimati, we have learned how to make those wheels going and get ourselves in balance from inside. There was recently on Facebook a quote of a friend of mine from Ireland. And she said, you know, in Celtic language, when we don't say, I am sad, we say, sadness is upon me. Now that's very powerful. That means that whatever you're experiencing, whatever you are struggling with, it's not you, because you are the spirit. You are pure, you're perfect. You can find this spirit and this perfect state again, which is awesome. And Kriti will also tell you more about it. Kriti, what's your experience with the energy? What do you want to say something about the energy centers? Maybe about the Kundalini and explain the Kundalini?
Well, for the energy centers, they really help with different facets or aspects of our life. For example, the third one, which you can see has the word peace next to it, it helps us with our inner peace when we are feeling tense in our life, when we aren't peaceful on the inside. This center, this chakra really helps with that. And the Kundalini, which you can see on the chart, it's situated in like an upside down triangle, I would say. And basically this represents the sacrum bone in our body. So the Kundalini essentially resides there and is like a mother energy because she basically awakens all our energy centers and nourishes them. So anytime our energy centers are a little bit rusty, like it's a wheel. So if it gets a little rusty, if we're going through something in our life, it reflects in our energy centers. So really to help, get over that and make sure our energy centers are working just fine, Mother Kundalini really nourishes it whenever we meditate. So that's what I would say about that.
That's a very good explanation. So this Kundalini energy, you can see here at the bottom in this triangular bone, and it's actually an energy, it's an innate energy you have. Now think of it that way. If you try to fix yourself and you do not have the connection, now we're talking about the Kundalini rising in your central channel and coming out on top of your head. And in Sahaja Yoga, we refer to this as the self-realization, the actual self-realization. You can feel it in form of a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, this is an action happening that can happen to you the first time in your life, and you have it. You have it forever. Now, what does it do? Think of it before self-realization. You will try to move things around in a limited body, in a limited subtle body. You have a pain here, a problem here. You may shift some energies from here to here, but you may feel better there, but it's missing here. And that's a problem. So once you get connected, you're connected to an infinite source. And that's huge, an infinite source. So think of love. When I give love to somebody, I feel more love. Doesn't make sense, does it? I'm giving something, I should have less, but love exponentially grows for me too, when I'm sharing it. So really in the essence, this Kundalini is nothing else than love, but you can feel it. And these vibrations, what we call, is nothing else than love that you can actually feel, but it's moving, it's active, and it can work. And how it will work, we're going to figure out in a short meditation. So let's do a little inner check, what we call an inner check. And we invite you all to find a quiet corner in your house. Even if there's noise around, you can also, when you withdraw to inside, it can also just disappear. But find ideally a quiet corner and give yourself the time. So don't run around with your laptop or iPad. Sit down, do yourself the favor. And honestly, you don't do that for us. You do that for yourself. So find a quiet corner. You can sit on the ground. You can also sit on a chair and put your feet on the ground. Parallel is good to have this connection to Mother Earth, because Mother Earth actually absorbs a lot of our problems as well, which we're not even aware. So let us, I don't know why today my screen is jumping around. Apologies, it's never happened before. I will fix it. So let's have our hands open just like bowls, because we want to receive and be ready for what you feel. This is our first inner check-in. So we're going to feel, am I even feeling something at all? Let's have the hands on our lap and bring our attention inside. Before we close our eyes, I'm quickly going to show you a very simple exercise. Meditation means thoughtless awareness. That means we go beyond the thoughts. Here are my thoughts, and I'm going beyond the thoughts. And once I have my self-realization, I will actually experience truly thoughtless awareness. Before that, it's, as I told you, just a shift around. So let's bring our attention on top of our head. So just keep your attention really relaxed on top of your head. If thoughts are coming, just say, not now, not now. And with your right hand, I would like you to follow your spine and raise very slowly, a couple of times, maybe 3, 4, 5 times. Raise this Kundalini energy. And every time you do that, with your eyes closed ideally, say Mother Energy, and we're talking to this Kundalini, because these affirmations are very powerful. Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Do it a couple of times. You're raising this energy yourself. But it's very important you have a desire for it. If you don't truly wish for it to happen, you will not feel much. So bring your attention, leave your attention on top of your head. Now stretch those fingers apart, and the center palm of your hand you put on the top that was soft in your childhood. And push down with the head a little bit forward, and your left hand still open. And rotate, push down and rotate really slowly, about 7 times. Now slowly raise your hand. If you feel a cold, maybe initially a warm breath coming out of your head. Sometimes it's quite far. Then try the other hand. You can try the other hand and see sometimes one hand is warmer or cooler than the other. And this is already step 1. Finding out what's right and what's wrong with me. Am I in balance? We're going to tell you a secret about the right and the left and what they signify. So during this program, I invite you all to keep your attention on top of the head. Even if we're talking, even if we're doing whatever we're doing, keep your attention up there. And once in a while, put your hand up and see, has it become stronger? So we're going to tell you a little story. The right side and the left side, the 2 channels you may have just seen in the subtle body image, the diagram that we have. But Kriti, you're a student, you're young, you can really relate to our participants. Tell us a story where you felt out of sync and how you fixed it with meditation.
Well, specifically, when I had moved to a new school, that was a challenging time for me because, I left all my old friends behind. So I was feeling really lonely and low starting off at a new school. And I used to have good grades, but my grades started deteriorating because I just had a lack of motivation. Some days, and my emotions were like very confusing because some days I would feel like sad and depressed, but other days I would just feel numb and dull and lethargic. And I didn't know why I was feeling this way, and I didn't want to feel that way. I was feeling sad, and I used to try to convince myself to be happy by, like, I would try to think happy thoughts and try to be positive, but I wasn't, like, my thoughts weren't enough to combat the sadness. I wasn't able to, like, outthink the sadness. And it made me feel a little bit helpless because I didn't want to feel sad or numb, but I just didn't know what to do with it. And I mean, funnily enough, at that time I did know how to meditate. Like, I always knew since I was a kid, but I just didn't think of doing it. I guess that's what things like depression does to you. They just keep you away from the solution. So you just kind of wallow in your own sadness looking for a solution when it can just be like right around the corner. So then one day though, I didn't really think about it. I was like, okay, let me just sit down and meditate. And really, in that meditation, just all my thoughts, all those negative thoughts that made me, sad, all of them were just slowly leaving my mind. Like the thoughtless awareness, we call it, right? When all the thoughts leave your mind and there's just a silence inside. And I just found so much peace and joy at that time. And then, I told myself at the end of the meditation, I should keep meditating if I want to not feel sad anymore. So I put a little bit of like conscious effort to remind myself to meditate every day. And really that, gave me that peace. It just gave me a lot of confidence, and I was able to make new friends at school, and I got back the motivation I used to have. So yeah, that's the story.
Wow. I really liked how you explained that when you were in this state, you knew what to do, but you couldn't make yourself do it. And that's such a good way of describing what we call the left side. For me, sometimes it feels like you're stuck in quicksand, isn't it? You're unable to move, like, oh, I know I should be doing this, but these emotions are dragging me down. It's like this different
Exactly.
entity that has a power over me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's show our participants a little bit what we mean when we talk about left side. So obviously it's the left part of our body. As you can see here, it starts underneath the Kundalini and it goes up the left side of your body and switches over to the other side on the forehead, where it becomes the superego. And superego has this tendency of, how did you say the word? Wallowing in your misery?
Yeah, just wallowing and just indulging in your sadness.
Right, indulging in your sadness and ideally also drawing everyone in and making everyone
Yeah.
miserable, right? Explaining a super ego. The left side of our the left channel, we call also moon channel or female channel, is connected to our emotions, and it's also connected to the past. So we may find ourselves stuck in the past, constantly thinking about past scenarios, bringing them back up and feeling over bad about them and things like that. The past is, by the way, stored at the back of our head, also in the subconscious, and it comes up in our sleep and all these things. You may have dreams where you suddenly process things, and we can work on that. Do you want to explain when to our participants, just to give them a little preview of what we're learning in Sajoga meditation? And by the way, our classes are all free of charge. We're all volunteers. They're always free of charge. So
Yeah.
when we're working on our left side, what's a really good way to work on the left side?
Well, at the time, like as the time I had that whole episode, that story, one thing that I used to do in my meditation is the candling treatment. And you can see here, you just need to have a candle and light it and just keep it a little close to your left hand. Like suppose this is the candle, like this, not too close. We're not, we're being safe here, but just enough so that the light element really clears out all the negative emotions, all the negativity from your left channel. That is one technique we use.
Exactly. The left side needs the fire to burn, and we work up and down our left side with circular movements. So that's what we do. And again, this is something where you are working on yourself. So you have to have the motivation. I want to be better, right? I want to improve myself. but I gotta grab that candle, I gotta sit down, I gotta meditate, and then you will
Yeah,
feel a tremendous benefit, right? Sometimes it's stunning how fast it works, that you feel so much better. We have things like the guilt
it
on our
is.
left shoulder, right? Which is a left side emotion,
Mhm.
anxieties here on our center heart, and we can literally work on them with the candle. But there are other scenarios,
Mhm.
isn't it, where we are. So this is the left side where we say lethargy, sadness, emotional, over emotional, hanging in the past. It's sometimes hard to get out. So what's the right side? Do you have a story for the right side, or an experience or a feeling about the right side that you remember?
Well, for the right side, anytime I'm just overwhelmed with thoughts and I'm like I have so many thoughts going on in my mind and it's just rushing. Sometimes at late at night when like for a while when I was in grade 4, I couldn't sleep at nights because I was just thinking so much. And when you're a kid, when you're hyper, it reflects in your actions. So if you see like a kid being very hyper, he can be a little bit right-sided, but when you're an adult, you're more mature. So it doesn't really reflect in your actions, but it reflects in your mind. So when your thoughts are just really rushing, you get a little like irritable, you can react a lot, you can get angry. I know when I'm right-sided, my mom has to deal with it because I behave a little badly, like I react a lot. So that is sometimes what happens to us when we are right-sided.
And I think that happens to a lot of people in the workforce, and especially students, right? You have so much stress. You have
Mhm.
life by the clock, by the minute. You have to have deadlines. So the right side is something that pushes
Yeah.
us into overdrive to make us, what you said, hyper. So you can have symptoms of irritability, anger, maybe slightly aggressive behavior also in your talk, in your language, and
Mhm.
you usually affect other people, right? So let's show everybody just a brief image of the right side. So the right, or the sun channel, is on the right side. It starts above this kundalini, and it crosses over again to the left side of your head, which is your ego. And we all know what ego is. We use it in language so much. Oh, he's got a big ego. He's full of himself, right? But it's even more than that. Ego is just, it's just more than just thinking about yourself. It's also just in your behavior, dominating others and bothering other people very much so. We say it's connected to action. So that's why when we meditate, we also use the right hand, the left hand of desire, the right hand of action. So it's the action, it's which we need. We need action. We need to get ourselves out of the slump, right? We do need the action. But if we go in overdrive, we're running the rat race, we cannot calm down. We have ways to calm down. And I don't know how many people were there yesterday. I have a feeling there's the people didn't come from yesterday, so not necessarily anyone has a foot soak bowl prepared, but we can maybe briefly introduce the foot soak as an um, extremely effective way of cooling yourself down. It's as simple as that. Is a foot soak. Element water, the element earth, which is a salt, handful of salt. And if you feel you're very hyper and your feet are burning, then keep the water pretty cool. Keep water to rinse and a towel on the side, and sit there for 10 minutes with your hands open and your attention on top of your head. Perfect way of working, especially on the first 3 energy centers: the root chakra, the Swadhisthana, which is connected. You've learned about it yesterday, and you can watch the YouTube back. The Swadhisthana, or maybe they didn't do that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Swadhisthana, which is connected to your creativity, your action you're doing, but also to your knowledge, your true knowledge. And the Nabi, which is element water and connected to, as you said, seeking and your satisfaction and peace. So these 3 first energy centers are usually cleared with the foot soak, right? And for the right side, definitely for the right side. I do it every night. I sleep if if I forget my foot soak sometimes and I'm lying in bed. Why can't I fall asleep? Ah, I forgot my foot soak. Foot soak just really, it sucks out all this negativity, we call it, from the day. It just does the work, right? Do you want to explain about the ice pack, maybe, Kriti?
Sure. So, like we said, when you get hyper, your right side is affected. Basically, it gets heated up. So, what we use to cool it down, we would use like cold water in our foot soak, and we would use an ice pack. So, most of us have ice packs in our houses. We keep it on our bruises and such. So, what we would do is we would get, like a block of ice or like the flexible gel, or it can be just a Ziploc full with ice. And you just keep it on your like liver, like just at the right side of your abdomen, I would say. I actually have one right now. Um, so you would just keep it there. Yeah, you would just keep it there. And you can keep it as you're doing your work, or you can keep it while you're meditating. That's helpful. And that really cools down, your right side, and especially your liver, which works hard, in our body.
Totally. And you probably realize that the more you meditate, you become extremely sensitive on your state. You can feel things much, much more. Like how we felt the warm and the cool, that will get much, much more sensitive. You become aware of your weaknesses. And I sometimes do feel my liver pinch. Have you ever felt your liver pinch when you're too right-sided? Kriti, have you ever felt it like a little hot, a little pinch? No? Then you're lucky, maybe you're not.
I haven't felt a pinch, but I
You
did
haven't.
feel warm sometimes in that area.
You do feel it sometimes, and then you take an ice pack. And the reason being is that on the right hand side of our of this nabi chakra is the liver, as you mentioned, the liver. And the liver is an extremely important organ, because the liver doesn't only detoxify, it also feeds the brain cells, and we use our brain way too much in our society. We just overthink. So it's feeding and feeding and feeding, and then
Yeah.
maybe on top of it I might indulge in tons of caffeine, which I've recently stopped, and then which helps a lot for the liver. And then you may have alcohol or other things that drain the liver and make it really extremely exhausted, and the liver can't do its job anymore. And then it gets hot, and then you get irritable. And we sometimes in Sajoga we say, "Oh, he's got a hot liver." Somebody who's very heated and aggressive has a hot liver. You could do with a foot soak and an ice pack.
Mhm.
But just very briefly to make you aware that when you feel warm on one hand and cool on the other, that's already the first indication which of the sides you're overusing. So let's go right back into a short meditation guided by Kriti to get us back into the balance. And this time,
Mhm.
again, go inside, bring your attention inside, but see what you feel. You may even find some energy centers on your body. You may find some fingers tingle. The fingers are indicators which energy centers are out of sync. Have attention on that, but at the same time, keep your attention really, really relaxed on top of your head, beyond the thoughts.
So, like Miss Sia said, we can feel a cool breeze or warm breeze and even some tingling on our fingers. So, if you feel that, it'd be nice if you take note of that or remember it. And then later at the end, we'll share how we feel, so we can get a better understanding together of what it means. So, hopefully, in today's meditation, we're not going to go on the left or the right, but we're going to bring ourselves to the center. Like we're going to be in balance. We're going to be in the center channel, which means we're not getting any thoughts from the past or thoughts from the future, but we are just enjoying the present moment. We are in thoughtless awareness. There's joy, there's peace, and you're just in the present. And that's a good balance for us, right? So we're going to go ahead and start with our meditation. So first off, to clear our left channel, let us keep our left hand open on our lap. And let's keep our right hand either touching the ground if you're sitting on the ground, or if you're in a chair, just put it to the side so that it's facing the ground. And let's just keep our attention inside and our eyes closed. Just say, Mother Earth, please absorb all the negative emotions, all the thoughts from the past. Please absorb it all. Please purify thoughts, my emotions, and my desires. You can pay attention to your left hand and see if you're feeling any cool or warm breeze or any other sensation. Now let's keep our right hand open on our lap like this. And our left hand, we're going to keep it like this, how I'm doing here. This way we're using the sky element, I would say, to cool down our right side. So here, just say, like a chimney, let all the heat, all my frustrations, all my anger and hyperactivity just release from my cell system into the sky. Please cool down my right side. Now, let's keep our right hand on our heart, right here. And our left hand, we'll put it open on our lap, where it was. And here is where our inner self, our spirit resides. So here you just want to say, I am not this body. I am not this mind or any of the thoughts in my mind. I'm just the pure spirit. I am one with this unconditional love and compassion and confidence. You could say, Mother Kundalini or inner energy, please open my heart. Let the love and light of my spirit shine. Now our left hand will stay open on our lap, and we're going to keep our right hand across our forehead, just like this. Here, this chakra helps us to forgive, so we should forgive ourselves, everybody in our lives, and all our thoughts as well. So we'll just repeat a few times. I forgive. I forgive. I forgive everyone, including myself. I forgive. Now let's place our right hand on the top of our head. You can stretch your hand a little bit so that the center of your palm can really touch your head. And just bend your head forward a little bit and press your hand. And here we want all our thoughts to disappear so we can really enjoy this thoughtless awareness that we're feeling right now. So let's say, let me be in thoughtless awareness. Let me experience this union with the all-pervading power of universal love. Now let's lift our hand above our head, like how we did way back before. And you can raise your hand a little bit higher or a lower, and you can feel a sensation on the top of your head. And it could be different from how you felt before you started. Now you can do the same with your left hand. Let's put our left hand above our head. And let's see what we're feeling. So let's keep both of our hands open on our lap and just continue meditating with our attention on the top of our head.
So try to feel over your head if you feel a cooler breeze now with your left, sometimes further away. And then try your right hand. You may notice your breathing has slowed down. And you feel quite joyful because the raising of the Kundalini means actually this bubbling of joy that comes up your central channel. And it literally is like a shower from inside that cleanses all these energy centers, brings you automatically, spontaneously into balance. And there is a beautiful poem that Kriti found for the occasion. Do you want to read it for us?
Sure. So I found this beautiful quote by Lao Tse. Uh, Coincidentally, Reverend O'Malley also had a quote by Lao Tse.
How funny.
And he said, so I'll just read it. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. So he kind of really, put basically what the left side is, what the right side is, and the center channel, what they are. He just like explained it in a really nice way. Depression and living in the past are like correlated, and our left side really helps to deal with that. And when we're anxious, you will notice that you're always like worried, thinking about something. You're always worried, thinking about what's next. What am I going to do now? What will I have for dinner? All of those, thoughts just rush in your mind. So really, you're really living in the future when you're anxious. When you're at peace, there's no thoughts coming from the past. There's no thoughts from the future. You're really in the present. So really, that's how you feel when you're in balance, when you're in the center. And you can see that this knowledge of the channels and all of Sage Yoga, it has been foretold or spoken about by great saints like Lao Tse of the past. So it's really cool to see how that knowledge was known to people in the past. But now, we really get to meditate together here today.
Yeah, so true. And I think it's also an important tool for all of you if you find yourself in this mood to bring yourself into the present moment and just open your eyes and say, I am here right now. This is me in this present moment. Whatever happened to me that just really affected me and upset me, it doesn't exist. It's over. And you take us inside, take a step back of this situation and watch it and witness it. Become the witness for this situation. Take yourself out of this situation and just watch it without those emotions that bothered you, just leaving them there. And the same for any future pressure. You say, right here, I am now here in this present moment. The future doesn't exist. So again, take a step back and detach yourself of these things. And it does work. So your attention, after your self-realization, after the Kundalini actually rise like this, your attention becomes very powerful. And you have always the choice to not get sucked into these things and actually get the tools. And we will, at the end, very end of the program, I'm one of the mentors. So if you're interested in getting a one-to-one mentorship, learning more about how to deal with whatever specific problem you have, stay till the end. And also, I'm still very excited because all our artists are here and we're going to chat to the artists after Kiureli's performance. And Jutta is also here on the call, who did this beautiful song in the beginning. She made for you for this program. She made the song and video. So please stay on and meet our artists. And we're going to, at that point, we're also going to open all the microphones and you can ask all questions and everything. So just very, very, very briefly, because we wanted to go through those energy centers, very, very brief snippet ahead of what the chakras relate to, for example. So the first three energy centers we kind of covered a little bit. So the fourth energy center is connected to the air element. As you know, we've got the lungs, and it's connected to self-esteem and security, especially in the middle. Also, our parents are represented here. And you will notice that very often children or young people who come from an extremely difficult background from home may have lack of self-esteem or self-confidence, right? Self-confidence and self-esteem. And as Kriti said beautifully here, on the left-hand side is the seat of our spirit, which we want to identify with. And sometimes if you're really overwhelmed and you don't know anything and you don't know any meditation, just put your hand on your heart and you can just say, and this is taken from an old poem of Shankaracharya, you can say, I am the spirit, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not these problems, I'm not these worries, I am the pure spirit. And say it from the heart. It doesn't matter if you remember those affirmations word by word. What's important is the sentiment, the feeling of the affirmation. Now the fifth energy center is called the Vishuddhi. And these are all Sanskrit words, by the way. Sanskrit is a language that is actually the language of the Kundalini. It's a very ancient language from India. And merely the words pronounced themselves have a power. So Sanskrit, Vishuddhi. The throat energy center is when we, think of the central path as a path of evolution. And when you reach this throat center, that's when you start interacting with everybody. That's how speech organs are here. And we talk. So if I'm, for example, a person who uses a lot of harsh, foul language, my right Vishuddhi will catch. I can feel that on my right index finger. So we ask for diplomacy at this point. If I feel very guilty, again, on the emotional side, remember left side emotions, if I feel guilty, I may catch on the left Vishuddhi. So this is collectivity, diplomacy, and interaction with others. And our sixth energy center is the Agya, which is where, remember, where the two channels cross over. And here we have our ego and the superego. So we really, in our meditation, we ask, please remove this ego, please remove this superego, because they trouble us. And on the forehead, we just say, I forgive, I forgive. You can say that if you have a headache, if you feel overwhelmed with your thoughts, you just place your right hand on your forehead and say, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, and just let go. Forgiving and let go in order to become thoughtless. And then obviously at the very top, the Sahasrara chakra is, or we call it the crown chakra, is this complete integration with ourselves, but also with the universe, the complete integration with this power of love. And it's a beautiful painting here by Giselle Moura, who is practicing Sahaja Yoga from Brazil, which shows just in a beautiful, colorful and joyful way how the Sahasrara then opens up, maybe invisible to the eye, but she beautifully depicted this here. So I hope Kiureli is ready with this song. Kiureli, are you there? This is Kiureli.
Hello.
Here we are.
Hello.
Hi, Kiureli. Hello to
Hi.
Finland.
Hello, Finland calling.
How are you?
I'm good, very good. It's a bit darker and later here than at your side of the ocean.
Absolutely. So what have you prepared for us today? And Kiureli, maybe we can have a little chat after your song, also with Jutta, just a little bit about Sahaja Yoga and how it affected you as an artist. But very briefly, do you want to say something about your song?
This is, I've written a few songs during the COVID times, and this is kind of a very, very poetic song. It's called "The Flower and the Satellite." Actually, I wrote it to my wife. It has a poetic atmosphere, and yes, I can play it to you now. Loistaa yössä satelliitti. Tuoksuu yössä kukka kukkaan. Loistaa yössä satelliitti. Tuoksuu Angervo kalliolla. Me pannaan yhtä aikaa silmät kiinni. Yössä sylissäs mun sallin olla. Sä kiidät yössä kuin satelliitti. Mä leijun niin kuin tuuleen puhallettu kukka. Sun kotis tähtien on tuikkeen biitti. Mun kotin nurmen pehmeä nukka. Ja yhdessä me lennetään yllä kerrostalojen kukka ja satelliitti. Ikkunoissa kimmeltää toiveet, haaveet ihmisten. Pidä mun kädestä kiinni. Hehkuu taivaan antrassi. Tähdet kuiskuttelee kanssa kukkasten. Ja rakkaus roihua kuin kerosiini. Suihku motoreissa avaruuden lasten. Ja yhdessä me lennetään halki unten kauniiten kukka ja satelliitti. Siellä lapset ratsastaa kanssa yksisarvisten. Pidä mun kädestä kiinni. Yhdessä me lennetään yllä kerrostalojen kukka ja satelliitti. Ikkunoissa kimmeltää toiveet, haaveet ihmisten. Pidä mun kädestä kiinni. Ja yhdessä me lennetään halki unten kauniitten kukka ja satelliitti. Siellä lapset ratsastaa kanssa yksisarvisten. Pidä mun kädestä kiinni. Loistaa yössä satelliitti. Tuoksuu yössä kukka. Loistaa yössä satelliitti.
Thank you, Kiureli. This was awesome.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
I have to ask though, are you hitting a tambourine with the foot?
With the foot, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a stomp box at my foot.
The stomp box. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The one man show that was created in COVID time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it.
This is so fun. Excellent. So I would love to invite Jutta as well, maybe on the shared screen here. Let's have a very brief chat amongst us. Jutta from Germany, And hi, Jutta, so good to see you. And Kriti, obviously. And tell us a little bit. Maybe I start with Kiureli. Tell us maybe tiny a little bit about how meditation has affected your life, and especially as an artist, as a musician.
I would say it gives purpose to what I do, and you know, that's what we do as artists. We try to give well, first of all, we try to give nice experiences, good experiences that kind of lift you up in these times that you get sometimes worrying things in the news. But I think what an artist's responsibility is to give, you know, to the audience, to the listeners, the kind of core of humanity, which ultimately is the kind of solution to the world's problems, and which is very much connected to the meditations that we want to be in touch with what we are, like on the inside, with our spirit. So that's my philosophy about making music.
That's a nice philosophy, and very much affects your current state as well, isn't it? Before you go on stage, you've had big shows. You probably get yourself into the center.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what is needed. You know, it's not always automatic. You know, sometimes you're you know, sometimes it doesn't come automatically. But yes, it's very much. When you are in the flow, you know, then it all happens spontaneously, and then the performance is also more rewarding, of course, you know, when you get to the center.
Absolutely. Music has a huge power of whatever music we listen to, and how Miss O'Malley was saying, what we pick, right? The friends we pick, also the music we pick, it has an effect on how we feel. So we want to be smart in the music we pick. And is this music that helps me get balanced, or is it music that makes me depressed or aggressive?
Yep.
Jutta.
Yep.
Sorry. Jutta. So good to see you from Germany.
Nice to be here.
So how are you? Tell us a little bit about your music and what inspires you to compose and write songs.
Yeah, I'm very fine, especially after this very nice program. I felt, I feel very balanced now and calm. And yeah, and I feel honored to take part in this program. And I was invited, and I thought, what could I send? What kind of music would fit to this kind of program for young people? I'm a mother of two young, not too young anymore, but I have two children, and so I know through what young people go, and how important it is to really find ways to connect to your true self in these changing times. And also for myself, I always look for these ways, and for me, music is a way. Meditation and the connection to nature, and the music that brings me also into a state where I feel more connected to my heart, to my spirit. And I guess through being meditating since many years now, this desire came to write songs about things that I experience also, and that I see in the world. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, very nice. Well, it's great to have you all here. I would like to invite everybody, if you are feeling confident, to unmute yourself. We're going to give you the option to unmute yourself. Just raise your hand maybe, so we can call you one by one. Or it will also be nice to have Miss O'Malley back in the, I don't know how many pictures fit in Zoom. Can she come and join us? And if anyone has any questions for the program or to the artists, or Jutta, you can stay. Kriti. Yeah, let's have everybody on there. However many people we can fit. How many can we fit into the picture? But it doesn't matter how many we fit. You guys start your questions. Unmute yourself. Or if you're feeling a little shy, we can also have, you can post your questions on, well, shall we open the chat maybe for everyone? That might be easiest. So we open the chat to everybody. So it means everyone can see. There you go. He's already done it. Mukesh is always a step ahead. Awesome. So if you're shy, put your questions in through the chat or just unmute yourself. Let's go.
Yeah, if you have any questions for any of the artists or about the meditation, anything we did today, any of the speakers, please feel free to ask or put in the chat.
I would like to ask, how often is ideal for meditation time in terms of frequency and length of time?
Kriti?
For me, I like to do like 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the morning and in the night. So once before school and once after school, you know, anytime. That is pretty sufficient for like daily meditation.
It's good to start your morning with it and end your day with it, huh?
Yeah, no, that really helps, especially in the morning. It's so refreshing when you do it in the morning, and then when you do it at the night, it's so relaxing. So it's like it just gives me everything I need in whatever moment I'm in.
And it starts to become second nature after you do it for a while.
It does. So sometimes I find trouble trying to explain it to people just because I've been doing it for a while. So it's just like natural to me. So it's hard to put it into words sometimes.
Great. I'm also curious, do you use music to help facilitate the process with your meditation? Do you also incorporate music and type of music you would use?
For me, I like a lot of music by Sahaj artists, like artists who like they are able to, I don't know, capture like the essence of the meditation in their music, and like instrumental music. I like that a lot when I meditate. Like Miss Yuta's music. I like when I listen to it, I sometimes meditate. What about you, Miss Sia?
Well, the two snippets you heard during the meditation were actually my compositions. With one was a sitar fusion thing. We love to do fusion, isn't it? Kiureli, the fusion part is what intrigues us, isn't it? Because the Indian music we know has a lot of depth, but sometimes for the Western ear not so approachable. So we like to diffuse it, isn't it? Like how you fused Bhangra with your Finnish folk music, which is very unusual. You said you're the first band in Finland that does that, right?
Yeah. That's the band of mine today. I was just doing another thing, but yeah, that's right. I've mixed Indian folk music, Punjabi folk music with Finnish lyrics, and you absolutely can do that. And yeah, and Sahaja Yoga is kind of bringing also different cultures together, like, and contrasting sides from us, the right side and left side, bringing them together, and they are complementing the world. The different cultures are kind of complementary to each other very much. So there is a beauty in fusion, definitely.
I like that, what you said is so important, right? Bringing all the cultures together. And when we meet in bigger meetings in Sajoga, there's so many different cultures. So exciting. So many people from so many countries. I mean, we've met ages ago. I know Jutta, you're in Germany.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with the choice of music, Stephen, I think you can feel this. Again, you want to check your vibrations. See, this is a power you get through meditation, is that you will be sensitive to what's good and what's bad for me. So just use your power vibrations. That means use your hands. Your hands will speak, as it said already in the Islam. They said your hands will speak. So your hands will be your indicators of what's going on and what's good and what's bad. And it will be cool, flowing cool when the music is good. And when something is really not right with you, you can also feel it on your body. I feel it very often just on the body, and you just become sensitive, right, Jutta? What do you think? How do you feel music?
Yeah, definitely on my body, on my mind. It cools down my thoughts. Yeah, it relaxes most. I mean, it depends what kind of music. It can also bring up a lot of joy when it's very rhythmically. So we have all these tools to work with. Can also touch your heart and touch deep, something very deep inside and make you emotional. So yeah.
True, rhythmically, it doesn't mean everything. We don't listen to just floaty, slow music, as we'll all be too sleepy.
Mm.
Absolutely. Do we have any more questions from the crowd? Maybe also to Miss O'Malley? Do we have any questions to any of the topics? Post them in the chat.
I'm also curious, of course, how people felt in terms of toward the end of meditation, if they could verify on top of their head a nice flow of coolness, settlement, and most importantly, that reduction in thoughts and maybe no thoughts, moments where there is no thoughts at all, which is really that magical moment point in our life where we are fully immersed in one, that universal love and intelligence and guidance and nourishment. I'm kind of curious how people felt toward the end of their meditation when they're verifying with their hand on top of their head. For myself, it felt nicely flowing, nicely cool, but most importantly, my thoughts were just not there. I mean, when you think about it, you don't need a thought except for a certain purpose. And when you're in meditation, what's the purpose of a thought? There's just silence and joy and oneness. How about you, Sia? How are you feeling with your meditation?
Oh, great. This was a lovely program. It's so exciting to have everyone here. It would be nice to hear if people pop it in the chat if they felt cool or warm. Otherwise, once again, to remind you, we do have a mentorship program. You can write to info@unesco.org to ask for a mentor, and you'll see on the website actually all the mentors that you can pick. You can literally pick a mentor and ask to be put in touch, in connection. This is a free of charge service as everything in connection to Sahaja Yoga. Again, this is Sahaja Yoga. This is outside of UNESCO. We're doing Sahaja Yoga meditation. We help you help you teach meditation, anything, just talk to us. We're here to help you. So info@unesco.org. Also here, same thing, that's the website, UNESCO BMW.org, right, Stephen?
Yes, very simple, very simple, just UNESCO-BMW.org or info@UNESCO-BMW.org, and we can address any of your questions or clarify anything that you may have in your heart or in your mind. We're there for you. And we also have a nice WhatsApp group. I encourage you to join in that. We have to have your phone number for that to happen though, but share your phone number. We can have you connected with that WhatsApp group, and there's a lot of nice interdialogue and sharing of information and files and uplifting information that we can offer to you and give you guidance and use that as a way to intimately communicate with you. And we also have UNESCO BMW YouTube channel, which is got a lot of beautiful videos, all past programs we've done. Of course, this one will be on there too, and so many previous programs, all very uplifting, very informative, very joyful. And especially this WeMeditate.com. That website is so wonderful, so user-friendly and so helpful, and so much guidance there for continuing your journey with using Sahaja Yoga meditation as a beautiful tool for life.
Have a look in the chat. There's also the connection of how to get in touch with the mentors. And maybe if Mukesh, our tech support, who was great today, maybe if you can pop this chat WhatsApp link also, or maybe I can do that. I can put that in the chat.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah.
The WhatsApp group is pretty helpful because all the programs that UNESCO does all the reminders. They send it over there, and also they send their newsletters on there. So like I'm in that group, and it's pretty good. Join it if you'd like.
I'd also like to say, if you have any suggestions to make our programs better and more attractive for teens and young adults, especially in the United States and Canada, we would love to hear from you. Again, on our website, unescobmw.org. Please feel free to do that. And as you already know, for those who attend this two-day program, there is a certificate of participation that can be added to your resume, and we can send that to you. And I also want to thank, very much so, all of our experts, our interns, our volunteers, our performers, musical performers who made this program a reality. You know who you are. I don't have to mention you by name. And it's been such a joy to have you all join in. And thank you for joining this program. And we're looking forward to offering this on a quarterly basis. So stay tuned and let's see if we can continue this journey together and get more teens and young adults engaged and really uplift and reclaim the depth of love, beauty, nourishment that's all meant for us to have. Express that not only through ourselves, but through others and through our communities, this great nation of ours and beyond. So thank you again for joining. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon, hopefully. And definitely through our mentorship, we can continue to our journey together. So maybe we can also, before we close, we could pull up do a scroll of our mentors again so people can see that. I mean, it's on our website. It'd be helpful to see the image of their faces and just get a little more of a feel for the variety of mentors we have available. Can we do that, Mukesh? Not sure if we can technically do that, but it'd be nice if we could. For sure, of course, you can see all the mentors on the UNESCO BMW website. There we go. You can just, matter of fact, you know, we can start using our inner instruments right now. You can put your hands out and kind of get a feel with your hands, with your vibratory awareness, which person that comes up feels the best for you. You can start to practice. Because there is a perfect person, a perfect mentorship match for you. So if not, just go to the website and with your own calm state, you can check out and see which one would be the best fit for you. Again, thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.